Hi friends, this is Ravi. Welcome to TechLake Video Tutorials. I'm started new series on Spark SQL, continues from basics to advanced Spark SQL video tutorials. Before starting our Spark SQL in Databricks, first we will understand what exactly SQL and where we use the SQL on-premises, and what is exactly major difference in OLTP and OLAP data warehouse or transaction databases on-premises. Then we will start SQL. Okay, so let's move on understanding a basic on OLTP and OLAP. Just I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to show you the basic diagram in data warehousing. This is a traditional approach, a traditional data warehousing concept, or you can say traditional data warehousing project. Any traditional data warehousing project on premises. So primary requirement is, so every client or every project, they will be having their on-premises OLTP sources. OLTP means online transaction processing databases. Online transaction processing databases. It may be Oracle, it may be Teradata, it may be SQL Server, DB2. So like this, majorly the front end will be applications, front end will be applications, and back end will be OLTP databases. Any business transaction data, backend they will store in databases. But these OLTP databases, if they want to analyze their business data, so what they will do, they will go with a separate database instead of analyzing or extracting data from these databases. So they will create a separate database called warehouse. So those databases type we will call it as OLAP, online analytics processing. So requirement of this database is just for analytics purpose. So feature purpose or current analytics purpose. So for that ETL, some ETL developers or ETL team, what they will do, they'll extract data from sources, OLTP sources, then they will do transformations, data validations, data aggregations. So then they will load data into warehouse. Once data is available here, then any reporting team, traditional reporting team, they can use the data for analytics purpose. This is the major on-premises data warehousing project architecture, common ETL architecture, So in this architecture, when you look at that, transformation layer, like ETL, any ETL project, any ETL developer like Informatica, DataStage, Ab initio, Oracle Data Integrator, the major role will be extracting data. So any data projects, when it comes to on-premises data projects like ETL project, primary requirement of ETL project is first, understand the business requirement and understand the number of source systems. So that is called, first we'll go with the understanding number of sources, how many sources are there and what's the size of the data. Then based on that, we'll go for planning. Planning for how to extract data from these sources, external sources, is majorly databases, OLTP databases. From there, which ETL tool we will use for data transformation purpose, like extracting data, then doing transformation. Transformation majorly fall in data verification, data cleaning, data ingestion, and data aggregation. Like metadata validation, like columns, data types verification, then finally loading data into warehouse. That is called E for extraction, extracting data from sources, T for transformation, doing transformation and staging, then L for loading into targets, that is called ETL. Any ETL project or ETL developer responsibilities like this. Sources will be on-premises, OLTP, target will be on-premises, OLAP, warehouse. OLTP, online transaction processing databases. So let's understand what is exactly OLTP system. Consider you're doing some banking transaction. So backend some database will be there. So whenever you deposit money, whenever you withdraw money, right? So backend some databases will be there. So front end you are doing some applications, backend database will be there. So that database is OLTP, online transaction processing. Consider you are visiting some supermarket, you are buying something. So backend some database will be there, front end application will be there. Whenever you are visiting a supermarket, the supermarket store, they will be having a system. They will enter the details about the customer information, orders and the payment, all this information. So they will be storing some database. That database type we'll call it as OLTP. It may be online transaction. It may be consider you're doing Amazon, some transaction on Amazon, like you are doing online purchasing. Okay, so any application backend will be database. That we'll call it as application database. The backend is a database. A database system have been used traditionally for OLTP, mainly for critical data processing, and detailed up-to-date data will be there. So if you log in your bank account, immediately it will update the transaction. The latest data will be available. Mainly structured data. So application means structured data. And read, update a few records. Only latest data will be there. So few data will be there, which you can read or which you can update. And these databases will give a flexibility of transaction isolation, recovery, integrity. These are critical because applications, they'll give importance for transaction. When multiple people are doing a transaction, so they need to look at the transaction isolation, recovery, and integrity. If some transaction fails in between, so it should roll back. Consider you are depositing some money or withdrawing some money. If it fails in between, what will happen? It should roll back. So again, you will get a credited whatever its deducted amount. So that concept, the databases will be having that transaction control. If transaction is not success, it should recover immediately. Okay, that's about OLTP system. Let's take another simple example. So you are buying something on online Amazon or Flipkart. Okay, you are buying online on Amazon or Flipkart. So whenever you are placing an order, what will happen? It will verify in the backend in ERP. Like many ERPs are there. So any ERP, so whatever they are using that ERP. So that ERP system, it will verify the orders and it will verify in the warehouse management system, and then it will confirm to you. It will confirm to you available quantity. Then once they confirm the order, then shipment team will come into the picture. So they will pick up the item and they'll deliver to the customer. So here we talk about data. Data means once you place the order, your customer information, your payment information, your order information, and your shipment information, everything will be storing in a database. So that database we'll call it as OLTP, online transaction processing. Until it reaches to the customer, so the data, whatever the transaction data, it will be available. Different subjects, order is separate subject, shipment is separate subject, warehouse is separate subject. So different subjects data, but it will be available in a particular database. Different tables. So these kind of databases we'll call it as OLTP. So later, any organization, if they want to analyze the existing business data, so what they will do, they will create another database. That database type is OLAP. Every RDBMS supports OLTP and OLAP. Even cubes also separate available, OLAP cubes. So major requirement of OLAP is storing data for historical data in this database for analytics purpose or analysis purpose. So defined in many different ways, but not. So when it comes to this data warehouse, right? So the data warehouse also database only, but mainly using for analytics, online analytics processing. A decision support database that is maintained separately from organization operational database. Operational database means OLTP. So they will manage a separate database, OLAP, other than transaction database. So why they need this database? To store historical data and mainly analysis purpose. So support information processing by providing a solid platform of consolidated historical data for analysis. So that we will call it as data warehouse. What is data warehouse? Data warehouse is a subject oriented, different subjects data. We are integrating in one place. That historical, so time variant, non-volatile. So once we store data here, we'll use only for analytics purpose, not for transaction purpose. A data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, non-volatile data, non-volatile collection of data, mainly for decision-making process. So you can choose any organization. Every organization will be having these kind of data warehouses, and ETL team will be there. They'll extract data from these OLTP databases. So This is a data warehouse, standard traditional on-premises data warehouse project architecture. So any data ETL project, sources will be OLTP databases, target will be OLAP database, OLAP. Okay, now ETL team will extract data, do the transformation. Transformations are nothing but data validations, aggregations, so metadata validations like columns, data types, null data, bad data, finally loading into warehouse to give a quality data to analytics team. Quality data to analytics team. Let's understand in a simple way. Hope many people knows Reliance is one of the company. Reliance is one of the company. So just Google it. Just Google it. Go to that. So Reliance subsidiary quarterly sales. If you go there, their company is having a complete analytics about quarterly reports. You see this financial 20 to 23. You see this last year, current year. You see this. You can see the complete analytics. Analytics means they are having a complete analytics. So Reliance is having plenty of sources. Sources means they're having plenty of businesses. Every business, they will have their own database and applications. So Reliance subsidiary, just I'll search, I will show you the list of companies, which will get some clarity on this. Yeah. So just I'm giving a simple example. Consider Reliance Fresh is one of the retail, Reliance Supermarket, Reliance Trends, Reliance Digital. So consider you are the customer in Reliance Digital, so you purchase some items from Reliance Digital, and also you visited Reliance Footprint, okay, and also you revisited Reliance Trends. So you are also customer in Reliance Digital, so maybe they are using a different ERP and different backend, different database to store the customer information, orders information, shipment information, warehouse information, like Reliance Trends, like Reliance Footprint, Reliance Jewels, like many, they are having many subsidiary businesses. When it comes to organization, if they want to analyze a complete data, like business data, right? So they need all the sources data. So that is called sources. These sources are OLTP. So front-end application will be there, back-end database will be there. Whenever they do transaction on a particular application, back-end it will be storing in database. That database data is for source any data warehouse. There is a source of any data warehouse. So here, as I mentioned earlier, right? So if you look at this, you can go to this analytics, like a complete analytics will be there. Their profit and loss quarterly. Okay. So how they are making this? Because they are taking data from all their sources. So that is possible only with if they have existing data. Otherwise, they cannot create analytics without data, right? So they need a data first. The transaction data they need. You can see plenty of reports. Okay, retail digital services. You see this. So financial performance summary, consolidated and standalone. Okay, and so that is possible if they have data, different sources data, they are going to integrate in one place because they are having different businesses. So different business, obviously different application will be there, different database will be there. Oil and gas is one, media and entertainment. Okay, so even if you go here, you see this oil and gas revenue, and you see this here analytics. Analytics is mainly understand the business, understand the process, improve the process and quality, and if they want to take any decisions on the business, launching new business models or improve the quality and existing business models, they need a business data. They need a business data. So that their customer data, their business data, they will take and they will store in separate warehouse. That is data warehouse. That is data warehouse. Okay, this is just introduction to basic understanding what is OLTP and what is OLAP, what is data warehouse. And wherever it is, like it may be OLTP or OLAP, common storage or databases only. So common language is SQL. SQL is one of the common languages on any on-premises data warehousing project. When it comes to cloud, data lake, lakehouse, cloud data warehouses, but common here, Spark is one of the big data combination. When it comes to Spark, we'll be using here. So language, point of view, SQL is one of the common language. So that will be the language when it comes to lakehouse, or when it comes to data mesh, or when it comes to normal data warehousing project in cloud. So SQL will be the common language. So that's why we are focusing on Spark SQL. So next session we'll start a practical session on Databricks. Okay, thank you. See you on next video. Have a good day.